Alright, so one of the things that I always hear when I tell people that I investigate spirits or ghost hunt or any of the versions you want to use is why. Whether it's the skeptic who doesn't believe, who just thinks that I'm wasting my time, to maybe the believer that is more afraid of that. Why would you go hunt something that scares me type of idea. And it's not some sort of call to fame or anything. I didn't watch any of the shows that are on TV and think that's a great idea, I should do that because I can get famous. Or it's not some sort of morbid curiosity, some sort of weird thing that I have to hunt the dead. But it really spurs from right after my grandmother's death. And this is a true story. It happened to me years ago. I forget exactly what year it was. Maybe 2011. And I'll preface this by saying that after high school, my grandmother moved in to my mother's house because she was having some issues with dementia and Alzheimer's. So she would do some things that are kind of odd, but after a little while, you kind of get used to it. It was just the way that she was. And one of the things that she would do is late at night, like the way that the house is set up, from the bedroom, the door, you could see the TV in the living room. It's kind of open space. And sometimes late at night I'd be watching something on TV because I was a teenager I was a teenager then. And she would come out and just stand behind me. And she was very quiet about it, very, very quiet. So you would never hear her come out of the room, but you would just kind of feel that presence, over your shoulder. And eventually, it would just get so strong that, I'd turn around and she'd be standing right there watching, Howard Stern with me, which was certainly not something that a 70-some-odd-year-old grandmother and a teenager should share. But it was just something that would happen on a regular basis. She would just stand there and quietly stare. She couldn't talk anymore. Now, after my grandmother passed, I lived in a different state, and I came home to help out with the funeral arrangements and with things in the house. My mother was very distraught. So I was living in the house. I was basically sleeping on the couch. And not immediately, but soon after her passing, you could still feel that presence, especially at night. Sitting on the couch, lights are off, TV's on, and you would just feel that presence. It'd make you want to turn around. Of course, no one was there. And it went on for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. And eventually I think I was sleeping in that room when it happened, which was actually my brother's room at that time. But he was sleeping upstairs with my mother, so the room was kind of free reign. And I was sleeping, it was dead at night, and I was having a dream. And now, personally, I don't remember a lot of my dreams, so this was very telling, but I was in this, like a warehouse, kind of like these old New England warehouses, brick walls, wooden floors, a lot of rooms, a lot of windows. And I was searching I was searching for something, and I'm not sure what exactly I was looking for. But I turned a corner, and there she was. There was my grandmother. How I remembered her before the illness started to take her. Full of life and smiling. She didn't talk, though, again. She's just like when she was before her passing. She didn't talk to me. She just smiled. She smiled with her mouth, but she smiled with her eyes. She was very peaceful. And in my dream, I broke down. I hugged her. I cried. I didn't cry after she died. I didn't cry at the funeral. I was so caught up with everything else and helping my mother and helping everything. I don't think I really grieved. And it was like she came to me in my dream as a spirit to say goodbye, because I never had the chance to say goodbye. I was living in a different state when she was sick, really sick. And, by the time we knew what was happening, it was already over. And the most interesting thing is that after that dream, one, I felt better. I felt like a weight was lifted from me. But the household energy, that presence lingering, seemed to go. It seemed to be that she came to say her goodbye, and that was it. From time to time, it seems like she pops in, but it was like a good solid 2 weeks. Every day, you could feel her, and then right after that, she was gone. And to me, I was young, so I didn't quite have the gumption to do this yet. But now that I've gotten older and I've had more experience, I want to find out why. I want to find out why in a scientific way. Not just a feeling, not just a story. But is there something tangible? Is there something real that I can measure, that I can photograph or show the world that there is something out there, things that we feel, we just don't have a way of really, putting a scientific stamp on it. A lot of people consider this a pseudoscience, a fake science. We're wasting our time making things up. But there are millions of people in the world, whole cultures and religions that have the essence of spirit, of ghosts, of interdimensional beings. And I feel like it can't just be made up, or it can't just be in our imaginations. There has to be something there. And the technology that's existing nowadays, I think we might be getting close to the point where we can actually say this is something that can happen. When you die, it's not it. There's more. Not just your corporeal body, but there's something inside, an essence, a soul that continues to exist. But without having something concrete, it's just it's a theory. And as any good scientist would do, I want to test my theory. and that's why I'm doing this.